So, first and foremost, tier 15, Riders, has not changed, does the exact same thing. It's very likely, if these are all equal power level, that Riders is going to be the single target option. Demonic Strength is kind of like the single target, but also AoE-ish, like the burst AoE kind of thing. And then Bowscoach Bombers is obviously going to be the AoE option. The Riders has not changed at all. Demonic Strength has changed somewhat. Now it increases your Felguard damage, and makes it charge towards a target, and also casts Fellstorm at the same time. So it's basically having Primor Service, but for your Doomguard, or sorry, for your Felguard. So, first thing that we'll look at is if you can use Demonic Strength while Fellstorm is on cooldown. So we'll just send the pet in, we'll use Fellstorm here, cool. Hitting all the things. Fellstorm is now on CD, so Demonic Strength, cool. He is still Fellstorming for the duration of Demonic Strength. So the Demonic Strength buff seems to only last for as long as he's Fellstorming. So it kind of has weird synergy because it's not like it's like AoE burst on him in a long cooldown. The fact that it enables you to have your Felguard go from one target to another target and then to another target through the use of Soul Strike is kind of a neat mechanic because you have a lot of more control over your pet and it has a lot more mobility. So just to show you guys, you can also use Soul Strike while you're Fellstorming. So yeah, that's a pretty neat interaction as well. But Felguard is attacking far left target. Need to go over to that other target. Pursuit is on cooldown, however. So you press Demonic Strength, charges through targets while Fellstorming, and it's over there. And then you pursue back to the main target, and then you Soul Strike back to the other target. It's a pretty good meme. Like, you just watch your Felguard zoom back and forth across the screen. So I was also asked if you can use Demonic Strength while Fellstorm is also active. So it's hitting Fellstorm, but also hitting the Demonic Strength Fellstorm. So there's two Fellstorms going on at the same time. When I was quickly testing this earlier, it didn't seem like you were able to do that. It seemed like it was still just one Fellstorm hit per second. I'm just going to put some marks up here because it is hitting 3 targets. Even when it's attacking Skull over here. So, if we use Fellstorm and then Demonic Strength, it's still only hitting once per. Let's see. Chat. If you use Soul Strike while it's Fellstorming, will Soul Strike gain benefit from Demonic Strength? I would imagine. So the thing with Demonic Strength is that I believe it is only increasing the damage of Fellstorm, just the way that the talent is worded. So it makes your Felguard charge to your target and unleash a Fellstorm, dealing increased damage, right? So the wording on it makes me seem to believe that it's only going to increase the damage of Fellstorm. So Soul Strike hit for 195 there. Wait for Soul Strike to be back up here. So use Demonic Strength. So it's got the buff octave. Soul Strike. It's the same. So it's just Fellstorm. Nope. Great question. Better to test all this crap now than have to worry about it later. So, yeah. So that's Demonic Strength. It's kind of interesting. They're really giving us the choice within this first tier as far as what you need to do in terms of fight or mechanics. Bellscourge Bombers is pretty much unchanged. The only change is that it's not 1,000-yard range, it's 100-yard range. But that, I feel like, is also a ridiculously humongous range. Like, what the hell are you going to need to cast on that's 100 yards away? Like, what the hell do I need to hit something that's up there for? I don't, right? There's no reason for me to be able to cast all the way up there. But I can. And, like, it is actively hitting things over there. So I'm not sure if that's intended or not. But, yeah, no, it still does good damage, still does good AoE, still relatively good cooldown, so nothing to worry about there. So that's tier 15. Tier 30, there are a couple changes within tier 30. Demonic Calling is still the same thing as it used to be, so both Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt can proc it, making your Dreadstalkers free, very similar to Legion. Power Siphon is still at 2 Wild Imps every 30 seconds, hasn't changed since last build. Doom, however, has changed. In the previous build, you could spam Doom, and it would continuously trigger the damage effect of it over and over and over again. So you can just see here, Doom is not proccing constantly. So that's good. The other thing is that the mysterious limit 1 of Doom has been clarified somewhat. So Doom is on Skull right now. If I target that and Doom it, no more Doom on Skull. So it is truly limited per 1 Doom across all targets, not 1 Doom per target. Much like I thought. The real downside to this is that it doesn't really give us any opportunity to talent or base have a good instant cast to pull mobs to us. In every single expansion prior to this, the reason that you would play Demo, leveling at least, is that you could pull a whole bunch of crap to you, hit Fellstorm, and then just AoE everything down. So we don't really have anything to pull things to us anymore. So it's kind of bleh. Yes, DC did get changed last build, I believe, to make Dreadstalkers instant as well. I believe that was the last build that it changed, though. I could be wrong. I don't really remember. So that is tier 30. Big change is Doom, obviously. Hello, Jero. Tier 45, unchanged, not gonna give a shit about that. Tier 60 has changed. 2 talents of 3 talents have changed, actually. So From the Shadows is the new talent in place of Raging Imps in this build. So casting Dreadsuckers causes the target to take 25% additional Shadow Flame damage from you, as the caster, Warlock, until cancelled. The until cancelled phrasing is always strange. Basically, all that is just until your Doomstalker, or Doomstalkers. As soon as your Dreadstalkers expire, the debuff on the target expires as well. Shadow Flame damage, we only have, or I guess we have 2 things. Hand of Gul'dan and a Bolt, Demon Bolt do Shadow Flame damage. So this is also clearly just a single target talent. I don't see its application in many cases, strictly because the other talent I'm about to talk about is stronger in every sense. That brings me to Soul Strike. Soul Strike is great. In short, it gives us a mobility instant, basically. So even if, like, your Doomguard is attacking one thing, cool, great, and then fire spawns underneath of you, you're like, oh, fire, I have to move. Great, so I'll just hit that while moving. So it gives us an instant cast for that. The other thing is that, in conjunction with this, if you have a Demonic Core proc, you also have the instant cast Demon Bolts. So with the change to Demonic Core, which I'll get to in a little bit, it allows you to pre-plan your movement quite a lot, actually, because you can plan your Dreadstalkers around when you're supposed to be moving. So we have a lot of movement ability, just not necessarily like movement ability. So we're much more mobile than we have been basically all of Legion, which is really good. Makes the spec feel more fun when you're trying to move around and get out of stuff. So that's Soul Strike. The other benefit, of course, is that it makes you generate a Soul Shard, which just brings the power level of this talent through the roof for the most part. It allows you to get some pretty nasty combos. Yeah, it's just way, way, way good now. I was bashing on it beforehand because it was just a damage button and it was stupid. It was kill command light and didn't really give you much benefit other than just another button to press. The added benefit of gaining a Soul Shard, however, is pretty significant. Summon Vile Fiend is, for the most part, unchanged, actually. So it summons the Vile Fiend. Gonna shoot spray? No? Is it gonna not attack? Probably because I'm not attacking. Great. So basically it just spits bile at your thing, and then headbutts and melees. That's it for the duration. It does now give you a pet timer basically for it, like pet totem basically, where previously it didn't. So an additional thing added for Vile Fiend. However, there's not really any applicable use for it. The major use I could see for it potentially is like hard target swap, where you need fast damage kind of thing. But Soul Strike gives you the same thing and doesn't cost a shard. So the benefit of it is Soul Strike is just much higher. Tier 75 has remained unchanged. Nothing to worry about there. Tier 90 for the most part has stayed unchanged. They did fix Inner Demons so that it spawns imps out of combat still, but it doesn't force them to attack. However, I have seen it keep me in combat for no reason, but it's not really that big of a deal. The cool thing about Inner Demons is that you'll be able to bank basically 2 imps before a pull timer. So if you get the pull timer started as soon as one of your imps spawn and it's a 15-second timer, you'll have 1 imp for sure and then 1 imp seconds into the fight. Or you start the timer 5 seconds into your Inner Demon spawn, and then you have 1 out, another one spawns, and then you have another one coming up right away as soon as the fight starts. So that'll be interesting to get the most memes. Unless they neuter that by removing all the imps prior to combat, when combat begins. Would potentially see them doing that with the whole movement away from banking your resources for maximum damage on pull kind of thing. So I could see them do that. The additional demon spawning is the exact same demons as Nether Portal, which I will show you later. Soul Conduit, still Soul Conduit, nothing really different there. And Grimmer of Service is the same as well. So if you swap talents when you have 2 imps out from inner demons, do they disappear? No, because I just did it. So wild imps are out. Swap talents, even attack, and I'm pretty sure they will attack as well. Yep, and they attack as well, so that'll also be walls. Grimmer services remain unchanged. It's going to be in the same role as it is right now. It is still very strong and does give us yet another instant cast for mobility, and also that AoE burst on demand. So this tier will be kind of interesting, depending on the fight and the circumstances. I could see use for all 3 of them, honestly. So that'll be interesting to see. Tier 100, level 100 talents. All these talents are actually working perfectly fine for now. Sacrifice Souls never stop working, so there's no big deal there. Demonic Consumption works, no problem. And Nether Portal is still Nether Portal. So, just so you guys can see the Fantabulous Demon spawn. Also, you will want to game your Nether Portal around your Dreadstalker cooldown, and that's only because you are able to kind of play around the fact that your Dreadstalkers will give you demonic calling, or not demonic calling, demonic core. Do any demonic things? It will give you demonic core for instant demon bolts. So you want to like try to play around putting down your Nether Portal when your Dreadstalkers are expiring, and also when you will be getting, or be able to fit them into the new cycle, basically, of Nether Portal. Since it lasts for 20 seconds, if you do it correctly, you can get 2 full cycles of 4 demonic cores, basically. They definitely removed the Precious Prince out of the portal, which is probably fine. I don't see a problem with that. Not at all. So if we wait for another portal now. So I'll go and play with Demonic Consumption here in a little bit as well, just so you can see the relative power distribution. Demonic Consumption, basically you gain power to your Demonic Tyrant based on how much energy is left on your Wild Imp. So obviously the more energy is remaining on your Wild Imps, the more damage your Tyrant will do during its life cycle there. Considering this is an AoE buffer, I can see some pretty interesting scenarios with that. So, Demon Bolt is in this build. It literally just has the same animation though right now as Soulfire, so nothing too fancy. While we're still waiting for another portal to go off cooldown, we can just take a look at some of the new spellbook stuff. So the main things that have kind of differentiated themselves is Demonic Core. So Demonic Core was Molten Core previously. So still has the effect to gain a stack on Wild Imp expiry. However, it now also provides us with the ability to get two stacks of Demonic Core guaranteed when your Dreadstalkers expire, which is actually pretty massive. Will not be too mad about that. Demonic Core, there's lots of DC names now, like acronyms. So Demonic Calling, Demonic Circle, Demonic Core. There's gonna be an issue with that, because like calling this Deco, calling this like Deca, Deca, maybe, and this like Decky is just silly. Like it is just silly. The other thing is that there is like a hidden spellbook effect baked into Hand of Gul'dan. The hidden spellbook effect of Hand of Gul'dan is that it has a chance to refund you 1 shard, but it's not in the spellbook anywhere, which is kind of awkward. Like, it's not in the spellbook anywhere, so meh? But it's definitely there. The other thing that's changing the spellbook is no longer Demon Commander. It is now Demonic Tyrant. It says cast Shadow Bolt Volley, but the casting animation and thing it shoots out is not Shadow Bolt Volley. It's like Demonic Blast or something like that. So we can show you that here as well. So the way that Demonic Tyrant works, it kind of works twofold. So there's the if I can think of words, there's the buff extension a part of it, and then there's also the part where it buffs the pets, obviously. So what you're able to do is kind of combo them. So let's just build up an imp army here real quick. Like, look how many imps I have out. Like, that's 4 sets of imps. So it sucks all the power out. Now he should kill all the imps, pretty much. But you can see here it does 87% more damage. He just casts Demon Fire. That's kind of cool. I believe this interaction is not working completely correctly, however. Simply based on the fact that it's supposed to completely absorb the effect, or like the damage that your imps are doing, and transfer that damage they would be doing into Tyrant. But it's clearly not doing that right now. I mean, it is doing that portion, but it's still letting the imps be active and shoot firebolts. So broken, kind of, but also not broken. So getting back to how Tyrant works outside of Demonic Consumption. The way Tyrant works outside of Demonic Consumption is that it adds 15 seconds onto the duration of your summons. So you want to, or will want to, try to extend your imps as much as possible while keeping your Dreadstalkers on a normal CD cycle. Reason for this is because you want to be able to get the Demonic Core procs from your Dreadstalkers. They're more valuable. I'm gonna go on a limb anyway, without any kind of actual math to back me up on it yet, is that you want the Demonic Core procs because they're more valuable to get your imps out than they are to extend the duration of Dreadstalkers. So the way that the extension, that 15-second extension works, is it doesn't actually add 15 seconds onto the total life cycle of your imps. What it does is for the next 15 seconds after your Tyrant is summoned, is it enables a like hidden buff to your wild imps that give them the ability to free cast for 15 seconds. And then after those 15 seconds are elapsed, it goes through the life cycle of its energy bar. If you can catch this right at either the end or right at the very beginning of an imp's life cycle, it's huge, because it gives your old imps a whole 15 seconds additional, but also giving your new imps like basically 100% duration. So That's going to be very strong. It is possible that the meteoric flare thing is Azeroth tier 1. We don't have any Azeroth effects right now, but it might be enabled. That is definitely what's kind of happening though. So you notice Tyrant was only attacking one target now. I'm pretty sure because it still is supposed to be attacking all of your enemies. And I think let's just summon it. So I know it's attacking that one for sure. Okay, so it definitely just changed targets whenever I change targets there. And it does have a couple of different abilities. So it has Demon Fire. It also has Demon Fire Blast, so that's the AoE, I'm pretty sure. To your enemy target. But it doesn't hit more than one target, just because that's how these dummies are spread out. Blast, though, would signify to me, anyway, that it is the AoE, and then Demon Fire would be the single target. So, it has both components, both AoE and single target components in it. So that's kind of where we're at right now in terms of Demonology. Overall, it is extremely fun to play. The other thing before I move on is that Legion Strength does have Cleave. Can't demonstrate it on these dummies though because it is the dummies are too far apart from each other for the Cleave to actually take effect. So I'll just head over to BFA land real quick and I can show you guys. Did a quick test of this as well earlier, and it was on these mobs. Oh no, these mobs over here. So if you just take a look real quick, let me just mark these things. Alright, let's get Spellguard out. Yep, we'll just pull these guys over here real quick. They're all clumped up right now. Cleaves hits 3 there. 3. Oh, there you go, hits 4. Anything in target in front of it. So, we've got Cleave back. This does enable Spellguard to actually hold AoE aggro again, which is fun. He's still really squishy, and I'm not sure if that's a byproduct of just mobs doing more damage, or if it's a byproduct of just how the game is right now. Kind of like the squishiness of your pet just based on my gear level kind of thing.